I'm catching up on my Booker reviews, so let's talk about All the Little Bird Hearts. Hello, book friends. It's Alyssa. Welcome back to the channel. Hello, if you are new. If you've been following along, I have been reading the Booker long list in advance of the shortlist announcement, which is coming very soon. I have 2 left, but I have 3 that I 6 3 that I need to review for you. So let's get started catching up on some reviews so that you guys are ready in time for the shortlist. Ready for what? I don't know. The Booker season has been a very weird season for me. I feel like it is highs and lows throughout. But let's talk about All the Little Bird Hearts by Victoria Lloyd-Barlow. I think this was probably one of the bigger surprise books that were on the list because I don't know if anybody had ever even heard of this, even fewer people than perhaps had heard of Pearl. So this was an interesting book. I did not hate this. I will say that. So this follows Sunday Forrester. She's a single mom. She's a teenage daughter named Dolly, and she lives in the Lake District. Sunday herself is autistic, and she has to like have a very, very ordered life. She only eats like white foods. You're in her head the whole time, and so you're constantly thinking, like, hearing her thoughts about everything, the things that annoy her, her like sort of dissecting the way the world she sees the world, her sort of struggling to understand like neurotypical people as well. It's a very interesting POV to be in the head of. It's very interesting to hear like how much she loves her daughter Dolly, but then also the disconnect between mother and daughter that occurs. But anyway, so she follows a strict routine. She eats only white foods, like I said. She relies on this like etiquette handbook for her to understand social interactions. Like that's her masking technique or her coping mechanism to deal with neurotypical people or to live in a regular, like the neurotypical world, is to use this handbook to tell her how to interact with people because she doesn't know herself how to like interact quote unquote normally with people. But then like one summer these neighbors move in next door and the wife is very suspicious. Her name is Vita and her husband's Rolo. They're very like sophisticated seeming people. They have no children. Sunday kind of gets wrapped up with them. Dolly kind of gets wrapped up with them, and sort of Vita kind of like takes Dolly, pulls Dolly away from her mom in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, she does, Alyssa. She just takes them. What are you saying? And then one day, Dolly and Vita and Rolo kind of are all gone. This is an oversimplification of the plot of the story. There's a lot that occurs in there. There's all kinds of family dynamics with Sunday's ex-husband and his family, but Dolly's basically taken by Vita, taken in by her, taken by her, however you want to, the verbiage you want to use, but she basically leaves her mom. And then there is some fallout that comes from that, obviously. Vita is not who you think she is. The ending reveals all kinds of interesting things about who Vita really is, what's going on with Rolo. There's all kinds of side characters. It's all very interesting, and it's all through the lens of Sunday and her autistic mind, brain, worldview. And I thought that that was really, really, really well done. I like books that are not neurotypical. I like when you get a character who thinks and acts differently. I've said this in another review for How to Build a Boat. This seems to be a strange little theme that's happening here in Booker as well. It's not all dead moms. There is this element of neurodivergence that's happening in these stories of autistic narrators or artistic points of view or characters, and I do enjoy that quite a bit. It's nice to see that thinking. I loved watching Sunday explain her interpretation of what was going on around her, but it was also painful because you're reading and you're picking up on the fact that these neighbors aren't as trustworthy as as Sunday thinks they are. You know that something bad's going to happen, and you know that Sunday should speak up and stop things, and you kind of get the sense that Sunday also knows, but she's not capable of doing what you really want her to do, to stop Vita from coming in and like taking Dolly and sort of destroying her life. There's also all kinds of reminiscing that Sunday does with her own mother relationship with her mother, with what has happened with her sister, which is very sad and tragic, and the guilt she has around the loss of her sister, which I think her mom is not a very nice person for giving her that guilt. I think there's a desire for Sunday to have like connection, which it's hard for her to connect, but there is this desire within her to really connect with somebody. She has a lot of inner monologues about, like I said, how much she loves Dolly, but it also seems clear that she can't fully articulate that to her in a way that I guess Dolly totally understands. Sunday is just kind of a little bit weird, a little bit different, and she has to have the world the way she has to have the world so that she can function. And if you're not fitting in with that, or if you don't fall in line, then it's potentially not a good situation for Sunday. This is a little rambly. It's been a little bit since I've read it. I'm sure I had more poignant thoughts right when I finished, but the general takeaway for me of this is that I did enjoy this. I don't know if it'll be shortlisted, but I really enjoyed this. I really feel like this was a great read for somebody who enjoys these kinds of narratives. I thought it was an interesting look at the mother-daughter relationship. I loved being in Sunday's head. I know that maybe not everybody did, but I really enjoyed being in Sunday's head. There's parts of it that felt kind of comforting for my own little neuroses, I guess, maybe. Yeah, I thought it was good. It does kind of read a little bit like contemporary commercial fiction in some ways. Which is why I don't feel like it's maybe a shortlisted book. But again, I think the major themes for the book are like dead moms, autism or neurodivergent, and just books you've never heard of. So I really do appreciate learning about this book, reading this book, because this was good. But I don't think this is going to get shortlisted. I think this is going to be like, upper mid, but not shortlisted level, upper mid from the list. So I'm going to update my list and we'll move on to the next review and see, I guess at the end, how close I am to the actual Booker shortlist. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting list. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video, whatever it may be, because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want. Bye.
So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning.